Anyway, so as she said, my name is Avin. I'm one of the co-founders, directors of Lavonne Academy. Um, Today I'm going to do a very small thing. I mean, I don't know how much you can take back home because I never thought that I'm going to address a lot of cake artists in this country. So being a baker and
We can't see you and we can't hear you.
can I use the mic? Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's audible enough?
Don't be nervous.
Okay. Who, me? I think so. I've never taken a class only for ladies in this world. It was always a mixed batch. So anyways, happy Republic Day to all. Okay, well, so I'm going to do a small demonstration. It is impossible for me to do every part of it because it takes minimum about 3 hours to do this entire product. This is from a region of Tuscany in Italy. The bread, this is a bread, it is not a dessert. She introduced it telling that it's going to be an exquisite dessert. I'm sorry, it is a bread. Okay, if that is fine with you all. Okay, so there is no rocket science behind this. This is just the basics of breads. That is what I'm going to demonstrate here. The bread is called as Carta Di Musica. Very simple, it is called as the bread of music. Okay, very simple. After baking, the bread is not going to sing for you. It is the crunch sound of it that is going to make the musical bread, if that is okay. So what I did was, my part was I added some activated charcoal powder to make it more healthy, just to impress you all. Otherwise, I don't prefer to use charcoal powder. All right? Are we good? Okay, so you can do it with any of the thing. I think those who have registered and paid for this session, you'll be getting this recipe online. I don't know about it, but am I nervous enough now? Okay, okay, okay. So what we are going to do is we made a dough and brought up here. Okay, so so those who are wondering what is that I'm going to do, so it almost looked like a Golgappa, okay, but Italian version of it. Italian Golgappa. What am I doing? So, but don't embarrass me telling that I made an Italian Golgappa. So we will make it more refined. It is the Carta di Musica, very traditional bread. Traditionally made with no eggs. There is no eggs in it. When I was working, one of the guests asked, what is the English name for our puppet? Puppet? Yeah, puppet. Okay, more South Indian. So my Etsy chef came and told that it is called as an Indian crackjack. So technically this is the Italian crackjack. Okay, are we good? Okay. So can I see the dough? Yeah. Okay. So at the end of the day, I'm a teacher by profession, or I know only how to teach and bake. If you cut my hands, I don't know anything else apart from doing this. So the entire life of mine revolves around this baking and pastry arts and research on patisserie artistry, and that's what I do in my life. So I will answer the questions. I will take 2 questions before go to this.
I just want to inquire if this activated charcoal is food grade, because typically it's used in filtration.
There are 2 types of charcoal that is available. The moment when you say activated charcoal, this has been taken out of the bamboo shoots. So it has been burned, and the charcoal powder has been taken out of the bamboo shoots thing, traditionally. Okay? Exactly. So there are 2 things. If you have taken anything poison in your body, you are fed with a piece of charcoal in your mouth so that the first sort of the poison has been absorbed up. Okay? That is the first thing. And when we visited Japan, there's always, in any of the classroom, they have kept a bowl of charcoal to take out all the negative energy. For what reason, I don't know. But I'm talking about the food grade one, which is the edible version of it, which is the coloring agent profusely, but this is also considered to be a superfood in 2018. Yes, very much, yes, yes. But at the end of the day, these are edible versions. Which is considered to be a superfood in 2018. The trend is continuing, so it will be there till 2019. And yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Can I answer your question? Yeah. So when we are talking about the sourdough, it is the wild yeast, but I've added dry yeast into it. So it is two different things. If you're talking about the normal yeast, it is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which requires sugar, and it breaks down to alcohol and carbon dioxide. But when you're talking about the sourdough, it is Lactulus bacillus milleri, which is the wild yeast that is available around the world. Okay, I've answered your question. So I used a dry yeast. If you're using a fresh yeast, just add double amount of it. Okay, is there any questions before I? Shall I? Okay, those who are talking, you will get punishment. You have to kneel down here. Okay, so that is the dough that we were talking about. You sheet it out and you cut it with a cookie cutter. This is something which you would have seen in your life. Okay, and you directly put it on the tray and put it for proofing. Okay, if you have a proofer at home, it takes very lesser time to proof. If you don't have a proofer, it takes double the amount of the time. Simple as that. So it takes about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to proof. Okay. Once it is proofed, it has been thrown inside the oven, which is at 240 degrees Celsius. Okay. So if the question that you are going to ask could be, can we use an OTG at home? Yes, of course you can do. The only thing what you have to do is be smart. Just add one asbestos tile inside the OTG so that it gets heated up. Any of the stone oven works on the same principle. So it needs a dry direct heat. It is very simple. So once it is proofed, you just throw it inside and it just bubbles up like that. It proofs up like that. So once it is been done, okay. Okay, those who want to see how does it look after it has been baked, that's how it is. So just pass it across. What we already did that, once it has been baked out, we brushed it with liquid glucose and water in equal quantity to give a shine to the entire product. And we crushed the half of the Carta Di Musica, the bread, and we tried to stick it onto the bread to just give an effect of a sea urchin. Have you seen a sea urchin? Okay, those who are wondering what is a sea urchin, it is part of the sea world. The reproductive organ is what it has been edible in a sea urchin. Okay, so it just looks like a sea urchin, but it is a vegetarian sea urchin, if that worries you. Okay, yeah. Yeah, like a pita, because it works on a higher temperature. And why it shoots up? Because the yeast is already been converted into alcohol and carbon dioxide. There is no place for the carbon dioxide to escape. So when the heat touches the bread, it puffs up. You don't rest this dough because the idea is to trap the highest amount of carbon dioxide possible, and it is supposed to be finished in 2 hours and 2.5 hours. So if you are going to rest it, you are not going to achieve the result because you don't want a spongy inside, you want a crispy inside. Are we good? So this has been passed across. I don't have time. It is not going to talk yet. I will tell you when. It is a tile. Yeah. So use an asbestos tile. Yeah. Yeah. So it is. Yeah. So when you are going to break that crunch sound is the one which names this bread per se. You bake it for 8 minutes at 240 degrees Celsius. Yeah. Yeah, so I crushed the half of the Carta Di Musica, powdered it, and I brushed it with liquid glucose and water together, and just sprinkle the entire thing like how you do the Oreo part. like the same way. I've copied it from you guys. Yeah. It is hollow inside, so that's the idea. So like Italian Golgappa, what I told. So it has to. We have to fill it with something. So that is the next part of. Yeah. Yeah. Is there any question that I can answer before we assemble this? Retain the heat. Otherwise, when you are opening the OTG, what happens is the majority of the temperature goes down, and from the time it opens and it closes, so the tiles is going to retain the heat for a longer period of time. Traditional ovens uses asbestos tiles. So all your wood fire oven, the packed with asbestos tiles. So everyone escaped from this row? Okay.
But then can't we use the regular trays or?
You can use the regular trays, yeah. So what you do is you keep the trays inside the oven and heat up the trays and just throw it on the trays. Yeah. So it's just same work like how the tandoor works. It works at 350 degrees Celsius, 700 degree plus Fahrenheit. So it is just to heat the to get the bread the highest temperature it requires, so that it puffs up. If the temperature is lower, then it is going to it will not puff up the way you want it. You have a convection oven, same temperature. Don't use the steam. It is refined flour, water, salt, and activated charcoal. Nothing else. Till it proofs. So in a regular, if you are going to keep it outside, it's directly depends upon what the atmospheric condition is. If the condition is, let's say, the temperature outside is, let's say, 30-32 degrees Celsius, then it proves faster. If it is during a winter time, it will take a longer time. How long you keep a puppet? Papad. How long you will keep it? Same way. So normally any bread 3 days it is not, because it has a lot of water content in it, and when you are baking it, almost about 20% goes off, but 80% is retained inside. So it is not a good scene to keep it for a longer period of time. Yeah. It is available everywhere. Otherwise, you go to the pharmacy, you get activated charcoal capsule. You can open it and add it. Yeah. Choux pastry? No. It is a bread, so it doesn't comes under the pastry classical pastry classification. This is a completely different bread. It is a completely different scenario when compared to the classical pastry, but it works with the yeast, so that answers it. Salt is for the flavor and to activate and to control the salt mechanisms. That is what the salt is added. So when you add the salt, it is going to control the yeast first of all, and it gives the flavor. So the activity of the yeast will be slower when you add the yeast, add the salt.
The activated charcoal, is it necessary?
No, absolutely not. So I was trying to
Is down for the
recreate Carta Di Musica to impress the home bakers.
what do you have it? Is it just you have it plain? How do you have it?
Apparently you cannot make masala papad out of it. So I'm going to show you something which we used it for the Carta Di Musica. Normally it has been served with a beer and a wine in Italy as a, how will I tell, a table snack. Okay, same like our puppet. At the end of the day, it's too late.
I'm just reminding you that we like 15 minutes more.
I have 20 minutes more. Why? Okay, I have 20 minutes more, so I will take some more questions. Yes, absolutely, yes. We made a beetroot version of it, beetroot powder, dehydrated beetroot powder, basil powder. We use cheese powder. I mean, choices are endless. I use black because I know that it will catch your attention today. Oh, this is the most easiest bread or the most easiest demo.
So I have a very easy question. So we touch the
No, I will decide whether it is easy or not.
it is trust me. We touch the dough, we saw the ready-made, just wondering
Ready-made.
the ready-made
Ah, okay, ready-made product. Okay.
just wondering do we get to taste?
Uh, no. Unfortunately, I was not. I mean, there are almost about 100 people here. I have only 5 Carta Di Musica. I'm not Jesus Christ to convert 5 into numbers. So, yeah. Proofing. Okay. You are following me? Okay. Okay. So proofing is the process where the yeast. The sugar breaks down into alcohol and carbon dioxide. So if you think that why the bread is softer in nature, it is because of the process called as proofing. 2 things happens. One is alcohol and carbon dioxide is being formed. Carbon dioxide is the one which gives the volume to the product. Alcohol evaporates when you are baking it. The alcohol industry work other ways. They leave out the carbon dioxide and take only the alcohol that is being formed. So it works very closely. That's why the papad is served with the beer. I mean, I just made it. Yeah. If you don't prove it, it will become like a. It will become like one. What's the other thing that you serve? The chart counters. Papdi it will become, not papad. It will not puff up. Simple as that. It will be crispy like papdi. Yeah, yeah. So the idea of resting is to trap more carbon dioxide, right? So when you're making, let's say, you are making a sandwich loaf. So you make a dough and you rest it for 30 minutes, you bench down that and then you shape it, right? What's the idea? When you're making a bread, the carbon dioxide is being formed at different regular intervals. It is not formed at a time. It is formed at different time. So when you are resting it, the entire carbon dioxide is being formed and you bench down, all the carbon dioxide is allowed to escape. From then onwards, the carbon dioxide formation will be in even intervals. That's why you rest it. But here why we are not doing it, because the texture that I require for this particular bread is not a spongy texture but a crispy texture. You just keep it outside, it will prove by itself, but it will take its own sweet time to prove. Sorry. Yeah. I never told high hydration dose. 60% is the normal that any bread will take, and this also takes up. So if you are wondering about what is this hydration, it's the amount of the water that has been added to the dough. So let's say if it is 100 grams of flour, the maximum water that it will take is 60. If the flour is new, it tends to take lesser amount of water. If the flour is old, it takes up to 60%. That's why I told it's a 60%. Exactly. So the gluten forms. There are 2 proteins which is naturally present in the flour, which is called as gliadin and the glutein. It combines together to form one single protein called as gluten. So elasticity is the textural characteristic of a gluten.
Why I'm specifically asking is like the
You are gluten
texture-
allergic? Don't tell me
because
this.
I specifically asked because this was really rolled out quite well, very
Yeah.
soft and
Yeah,
unlike these kind of doughs which don't, I mean, generally we may not be able to roll it out so well.
Okay, so the first and the foremost, if you ask, this is a commercial bread, it is not. This is made in all the household of southern Italy. Okay, the first and first. So they don't have the machines to roll it.
Yeah.
This one, otherwise I have to roll it, then I have to go wash my hand again, come back. Why unnecessarily wasting the water? I'm just worried about that. That's the reason I use the machine.
That's
No,
not
it is much more
why-
comfortable. It's
Because I
convenient.
mean to ask, really elastic so that they have rolled it out so much.
Wait, I'll have-
And a lot of flour, when you use the flour to roll it out, a lot of flour would have got into the dough.
It doesn't work like that. So the flour that we add extra is to avoid the sticking it
Sticking
to
of
the
the
thing.
bread, yeah.
Okay. So, but what we do is we brush it out after the rolling
Yes.
out. So the flour is not sticking technically. Okay. No butter. It's a completely, there is no shortening, there is no kind of oil or fat that has been added into the dough. It is not required because you have to make it crispy. That is possible. So the moment when I am going to add the butter or oil into it, it is going to soften the gluten. and that makes the dough spongy, not crispy. So
Whenever something crispy, you don't add butter or fat.
it is very simple. Yes, that's right.
That's a pasta dough.
Technically, if you see, the, the construct of the entire breads in the world evolved out of a durum wheat pasta. Okay, but the durum wheat has a higher gluten content in it. It is much more flowy, so you don't have to make any arrangements in the dough to make it flowy. But in a bread, when you are making it, but the problem here is with that a durum wheat pasta or a pasta dough, what it is commonly available in the world, it is denser on your palate. But you don't want it to be denser. You want it to be easily chewable and digestible, and you should take another 5 of Carta Di Musica as part of your one beer meal.
It can be made as a sweet as well as savory.
I'm going to make it as a savory one. Breads are normally considered to be something which is served savory. This is just to ignite the appetite in you, because anything crispy with the beer or a wine, you tend to take more amount of alcohol. That's the idea. So you ignite the appetite in you. Normally any of those wines or beers in the world, it has been served as an appetizer to increase the appetite in you, so that you will order more main course and desserts and make more money in the restaurant business, as simple as that. So this is also like a side dish. Peanut masala, forget it. Carta Di Musica, yeah, that's all I use. Yeah, can I answer some more questions because I have 20 minutes time? Am I nervous enough for you? Not at all. No? What a pain, no? You are no, it is not going to make any difference because the temperature is even from the top and the down. So when you are using a deck oven, you don't have to use it at all. You can do this in a tandoor. If you think that tandoor is of Indian origin, it is not. It has come from Turkey, which is called as tanur. Okay, so any of the heat and asbestos sheets are what has been traditionally used as oven before. Later changed into clay, and clay ovens came into existence, and that's the entire history of the breads.
So are there any other methods instead of these asbestos tiles where we can
No, if you have a stone oven at home, why not? Just use the stone oven. Yeah, exactly, the same thing. So when you don't have an OTG oven with a stone inside, that is when you have to make alternatives in terms of the baking.
instead of that I can keep a pizza stone and make it?
Yeah, the pizza stone, the content is either volcanic or asbestos in nature. Yeah. Volcanic stones are really, really expensive, but what people market is that it gives a lot of iron in the food.
Is there any alternative for pizza stone? I mean, what we are doing, like, it's very expensive.
No, the content, how the pizza stone is made, it is either made out of asbestos or made out of volcanic stone. Volcanic stones are really expensive, so I'm giving you, and it has to be custom cut for your oven OTG. I mean, I don't know how much it is possible for you to afford a stone when you make once in a while bread. You know what I'm talking about? So if it is part of your business proposition, then go ahead and invest in one of those stone ovens. That's the best thing to do. All the breads globally, it is been baked on a stone oven rather than in a iron rolled ovens. No, it won't help. It will break. Marble have a lot of silicon in it. That is not what we want. We need the iron content, not the silica. I didn't add any gluten into it because this is not a hybrid bread like a baguette or a croissant. This is a simple, how chapatis are common in our country. Carta Di Musica, the name is confusing, but at the end of the day, it is a very humble bee in Italy. It doesn't show off, but when I say Carta Di Musica, you got strategy. Yeah.
So can we keep this stone?
Dough,
So in the sense, I'm
Stone.
talking about the
Oven.
and the temperature. So can we use it for cake making and all this?
You don't require it. You require a stone oven when your temperature has to be extremely humongous, extremely high. Why you need a 400 degrees Celsius, 300 degrees Celsius to bake your cake?
No, I thought it is to maintain the temperature.
Yeah, so normally how it happens here is in a wood fire oven. When the wood fire is put, all the breads are baked. Then the temperature of the wood fire goes down. Then the last thing to bake in a wood fire is a cookie. Only after the cookie the cakes are baked. So you don't need a higher temperature. You need a higher temperature, highest temperature for a bread to be baked. How well I bored you all. Got it? I know you. Yeah.
So are pizza stones not
Where are you from? New York. Okay. So you want to start bread business? I have to close down my cafe.
pizza stones? Are pizza stones not easily found here?
In India? No.
So is that why the heating the pan before you bake?
Yeah.
That's where that comes in.
The problem is not with the availability of the stone. It is really difficult to cut it. So that makes it even more expensive. Because these are volcanic stones.
And that's because it's easily found.
In New York, yes, everything is available in New York. Donald Trump also is available. See, he's not available in India. Okay. Okay.
Second proofing is not there for pizza.
Not required.
First proofing is 40 minutes.
That's right. That's right. Roll it, cut it, and wait. Are we good? Okay. So what we are going to do here is very simple. We are going to fill this with a bechamel which is flavored with pesto. So you know what is a pesto sauce is? It's nothing but your Italian basil, Parmesan cheese, pine nuts, salt, white pepper, oil, which has been pested together. So it's a salsa. Okay, and this has been added with a bechamel. So bechamel is nothing but your white sauce made with 10 portion of milk, 1 portion of flour and butter. Make a roux and you add the milk into that and it thickens up and you combine it together. So, okay, so it almost looks like this. We have put it inside a piping bag, and this is green in color because it is made with pesto and white sauce that is mixed together. Another thing that we have added to give a more of Italian texture is we made caviars out of it. So if you're thinking what a caviar is, caviars are normally, traditionally taken out from a sturgeon fish, but these are fruit caviars, which is made out of oranges. So I've used a Satsuma orange to make this caviar. It is very simple. You heat the orange juice and add gelatin into that and pipe it inside or syringe it onto cold oil. Yeah. So that the moment when it is going to touch the cold oil, it is going to make itself into a roundel. Okay. So that's how it looks like. So it's look like fish eggs. Okay, there are 3 types of caviar available in the whale. It is called as a beluga, severuga, oscitra. But these are all endangered species now, so only beluga is available in the world to be sold. But these are fruit caviar. So when you eat it, it's an orange juice has been popped inside your mouth. Okay? Yeah, normal oranges. Satsuma is just for to market the product. Otherwise, it is oranges. It's a yeah, you can. Okay. So once you take it out, when you strain it out from your refined oil, you wash it, and then you use it. It's as simple as that. You need something for it to turn it into a caviar. So it is hot, it is warm when you are making the syrup, and when you are going to pipe it or syringe it onto a cold substance, you can do it.
Do we need to cool down the oil additionally in the fridge or something?
Oil is not heated in at all. So it is just kept inside the refrigerator for about an hour or so. So it is cold enough, and when you are piping a warm product into a cold product, what happens? It just coagulates.
Orange juice with gelatin, it should be like hot or
It should be warm. So the idea of the gelatin is already melted, right? So it has to be mixed with the, it can be mixed only with a warm product. So that's why you are slightly heating up the orange juice. So the warm and the warm. Or if you are going to add the cold into the warm, it gelatinizes then and there. So the idea is to melange it, or amalgamate the entire thing together. The entire recipe is, I think it is with the organized, which is sent to, it will be sent to you all after the program if you have paid your registration fees. I don't know about it. I sneaked in. Technically, no, as of now. That is why you have to wash it after, when you strain it out from the oil. Yeah. You can flavor the oil, and the flavor comes onto the caviar because you are making a savory product altogether. How much time I have? Over. Time over. I am not going to entertain any more questions. So, this is how it looks like. It looks like a sea urchin, right? Can you all see? You paid for it, so obviously you have to see it. Okay, so it is going to be piped with the pesto, which is flavored, the white sauce, which is flavored with the pesto. Can you just pipe it in? And these are all small parts of the dough, which we kept it and baked it aside, so that it looks like a garnish, Yeah. That's how it looks like after it has been baked. So you cut the edges, you don't throw it, you bake it. Yeah, it's look like what? Vanilla bean. Okay, sorry, you look like a vanilla bean. Yeah. No, it's my garnish. You want to taste it? You can taste it after. Are we good? So it has been piped with. Can you show this? Is it possible for you to reflect this onto the thing? No? He went outside. Okay. Okay, I'll just show one. Can I have my caviar back here? It's over. Where's my caviar? Give my caviar. I will give it after I do a plating of it. Okay. So it reached here, it will reach you all. Wait, let me finish. I came with 100 grams, now it's all about 50. If I give one, this is the problem. When we have a larger classroom, one will ask for a sample and it goes on. Finally, when I'm plating, nothing will be there. Okay, these are microgreens. If you are wondering what are microgreens, this is actually a hype product in the market, but you just put a little bit of mustard on inside a pot and it grows like this, and that is the offshoots of the mustards. Yeah. Okay, so that's your Carta Di Musica, filled with bechamel, satsuma caviar, and microgreens. Looks nice? If you are not clapping, you will not get a tasting.